Hello and welcome into our pregame show. We're here with Josh Kreitz and Brevin Anderson of the Erie baseball team. And guys, obviously an exciting time. You've punched your ticket to the Final Four, but let's go back all the way to districts in which you play Pueblo East, and then you knock off Niwot. First of all, going into the districts, you're not hosting, you're not the top seed. And we'll start with you, Brevin. What was kind of the attitude of the team going into those district plays?
I think we were pretty confident overall. I think we felt like we got a good draw, even though we were going down to Denver North. I think we felt like we could beat Pueblo East, and then we expected to see Niwot in the next round, and so we just prepared like we normally would, and we felt pretty confident going in.
And Josh, it seemed like the team, in terms of a hitting standpoint, kind of came alive that weekend. Throughout the year, there's been times where you guys have really struggled. You got one hit against a Mountain View team earlier in the season. You got no hit against Berthoud. What's been different here down the stretch?
I think we know that we've needed these games. We also, we knew that we needed the Mountain View game, but we kind of let those slip. But I guess going into districts, we knew it was do or die. We had to pull out 2 wins, or else it was going to be the end of our year. And
So then you go into districts, you lose a heartbreaker to Delta, and then the next day begins a marathon day of baseball. Pretty much you're at the ballpark trying to stay in game mode for 7 hours or more. Brevin, what was the team's what was the resolve like from your point of view?
I think we just kind of tried to stay into it, stay high energy and stuff, try to stay with the games. I mean, both of them were – the Longmont game was really just back and forth offensively, so even after they took the lead, we still felt confident. We knew we could hit the ball. And then that Mountain View game, it turned into a last longer than they can, so it was just kind of try to keep the adrenaline rolling and keep the high energy.
A long marathon game, 20-16. Josh, have you ever played in a game like that at any level except maybe those high-scoring Little League games?
Yeah, it would definitely have to be Little League games. It's definitely not something you would expect in playoffs, especially the final 8. That was really crazy. We put up a 10 spot in the first inning, and we thought we put Longmont out. We weren't expecting them to come back, and they came back swinging it, and we knew we had to go put more runs up.
I thought it was interesting you guys played Longmont. Summer ball is typically with the Longmont kids. How did that kind of add to the dynamic of the game?
Man, it was crazy. We know all those kids. It definitely helps for a pitching standpoint. You know how to pitch each of them. But I think last year, the experience playing them last year definitely helped. We went out there and we had some fun. I know that they were talking a bunch last summer about how we probably couldn't beat them this year if we didn't have Kyle. That's the only reason that we won last year is because we had Kyle. And so that gave us an extra motivation to beat them this year. So,
Brevin, playing through basketball season and kind of the grind that was, and then you come in and you're a multi-sport athlete here at Erie. How refreshing was it to have a completely different type of season than you had with basketball, where you come in and now you're one of the Final Four teams standing?
Yeah, it is great to win some games for sure. It was a lot different going into that atmosphere, and then going into the playoffs. We went to playoffs last year for basketball, but it was different for baseball. It was a great atmosphere and stuff, and so it's been a lot of fun going from a tough basketball season to a heck of a baseball year, trying to finish it off right.
So, Josh, let's talk specifically about last weekend and your performance in particular in that second game against Mountain View, a team that was #1 in the ChastiNow.com poll throughout much of the year, 3 losses. They have a solid ace or a solid staff from top to bottom. Ivan Thomas one-hit you guys when you went up to Loveland. So you come in, you put 5 runs on the board, and it's 5-5 when you come in. And you pitch 8 1/3 innings of shutout baseball. You reach your pitch limit because you pitched the game before, I believe in the 11th inning. First of all, walk us through kind of your plan of attack as you entered into the game, and then as the game kept going into extra innings, how did your thought process change?
Well, when I first entered the game, I thought it was going to be another hit fest like Longmont. I didn't think that we wouldn't be giving up any runs, and I didn't think we also wouldn't be scoring any runs after the first couple innings. But I guess I just went out there. The defense, if I didn't have the defense behind me, we wouldn't have even been close in that game. I mean, I didn't do anything special, really. I gave up, I think, 10 hits. So it wasn't by any means anything special if it wasn't without the defense behind it. I guess the main thing was just trying to go out there and throw strikes and let them hit the ball, and then let my defense work behind me. That was the biggest thing.
Brevin, we saw Coach Simmons time after time. The leadoff runner would get on for you guys in extra innings. You'd bunt him to second, and then you couldn't cash him in. Finally, in that 12th inning, he made Nick Gavitt go ahead and swing away, and that didn't work out. Luckily, in the end, it worked out. But as you're watching that unfold, how frustrating was that, getting guys on, unable to execute?
It was really frustrating because I think we got a lot of energy up every time we got a guy on base and then move him over into scoring position. It was really like, all right, let's go. We're finally going to win the game. And not being able to do it was really frustrating. And then at the same time, you're thinking Mountain View is also a good team. So, I mean, we're only going to get so many chances to win before they're going to take advantage of their own chance. Luckily Josh kept pitching lights out, and then Clint came in and did the same. So kept giving us opportunities to win on offense, and finally it worked out.
Once again, here with Josh Kreitz and Brevin Anderson of the Erie baseball team, couple of seniors. We'll get here in a second into the potential scenarios this weekend. But Brevin, you played basketball with Clint. Clint comes in and pitches for the first time this year. Has he ever actually pitched before in an Erie uniform?
Not in an Erie uniform, no.
Never in an Erie uniform. I know you were probably thinking, I might be called on to pitch here. Were you surprised how much movement Clint had on his fastball and how well he did performing in the clutch?
Yeah, I was actually. He threw the ball really well. I mean, but that's the competitive guy that he is, though. I mean, even in basketball season, it was a real tough way to go. But, I mean, he was always tough. He was always trying to pick us all up, and he was always really competitive. So we knew, with him going out on the bump, he was going to go compete. And he threw a lively fastball and threw it for strikes a lot. So that worked out for him.
Josh, you guys get the sack flying. Clint scores. You're going to the Final Four. How did you celebrate?
I went home and I slept. I'm still kind of sick, but we were all so excited. 12 innings. Mountain View was gassed even, and they didn't even have to play a game before that. Even in the 12th inning, our voices were all gone, but we were still pretty excited. The video shows it. We were all jumping around. It was just an awesome moment. It was great.
Now let's look forward to next weekend. You guys take on a Valor team that you've already played this year. Brevin, you kind of mentioned something before we started this interview about you kind of can feel the state in some ways pulling for you as the underdog, and Valor the big Goliath in this instance.
Yeah, that feels good. We hope we can go out there and get a win. I think we'll play better this time around. The first time around, we'd been stuck inside for like 2 weeks. It was basically our first game. We'd had Prairie View and then 2 weeks off. So Valor was almost like our first game, and they had just gotten back from California. So they were in full swing, been able to practice, play outside a bunch, and that was just, we looked kind of sloppy in that games, but I think we've cleaned it up a lot, and I think our hitting's gotten a lot better. And just as a team and as a core, I think it's been a tremendous improvement. So I think we're ready.
Josh, I talked to you before districts even happened and kind of alluded to the fact that, hey, if you happen to make a run, it could impact being at graduation. And now we're at the point where if you win against Valor, you're going to miss graduation. How does that kind of play on you emotionally? What does that do for you in terms of your thought process going into the Valor game? Where are you at just kind of psychologically with that in the back of your head?
For me personally, I think it's exciting to miss graduation. There's so many high school kids out in the state that can say they went through a graduation, but how many of those kids can say, I missed graduation because I was in the Final Four or I was playing for a state championship? So I think that's really exciting, and it's definitely an opportunity that everyone doesn't get. So I'm really excited for it. I think it should be fun.
Before we let you go here, guys, we've talked some strategy in terms of how to get through the tournament. We know Ruben Portillo will get the ball against Valor. What's kind of the plan of attack against this Valor pitching staff and against the hitters that they might send to the plate?
I think it's kind of just all hands on deck. That's kind of how it was this past Saturday with Longmont and Mountain View. I mean, we saw, a couple of guys pitch that haven't in a while or haven't really ever, and they get up on the mound and they battle. And the Valor pitching staff, I don't know if that's anything we haven't really seen lately. We hit off Greenwalt from Windsor and Bracken from Berthoud, and those are two of the top pitchers in the state. So I think we're pretty confident we can go in and hit them. And, if Ruben could just get up there and throw strikes and let the defense work, I think we'll be ready to go.
Josh?
Yeah, definitely like Brevin said. I think, their pitching staff, yeah, it's a great staff, but we've seen it all out there this year, and I feel like we're not going to have a problem hitting-wise. I think we got to jump on them early. They're definitely a really tough team, and they're going to be loud, high energy, and I feel like we need to jump on them early and go out there and put them out quick. That's going to be the plan.
If you guys win the state championship, you'll have won your next 3 games in a row, obviously. For that to happen, if we're sitting here sometime next week chatting and we look back and Erie's won a state championship, what will have gone right in those 3 games? How will we have seen this coming, basically, from our standpoint here? Because I don't think a lot of people even thought you'd be in this spot, let alone the potential that could happen in 2 or 3 days from now.
I would definitely say it's going to be a whole team performance, just like we have been playing all through playoffs. We're going to have to just keep hitting and keep having fun and going out there and grinding out games.
All right, well, if you do win, Brevin, is there a team plan for that, or are you just trying to keep it a game at a time?
No, I think we're just trying to take it a game at a time. I mean, obviously we'd all love to win state, but I think we got Valor on our minds right now.
Awesome. Well, best of luck to both of you. We'll be there. First pitch at noon against Valor, and then hopefully again on Saturday after that. So congrats to both of you. Thanks for joining us here today, and good luck throughout the rest of the tournament.
Awesome. Thank you.